How is your memory as far as bands that you've toured with, and then being able to place that in sort of like a year window?
It's pretty sharp because
is it?
Yeah, I mean it's like it all unfolds, and that's the only way I can actually really remember events of my life is in terms of like, you know, who we were traveling around with, like what songs we were playing at the time, what album we were touring behind. Those are the things that are most easily identifiable for me.
I still have Immortal Samplers with you guys, The Urge, Korn, you know, all on there. Yep. And I think you did some dates with The Urge too, way back in the day.
Yeah, this was like in 1996.
Right.
Around
that
like
time.
That, yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Well, it's great to have you, Mike. Thank you very much for visiting and chatting with us today. First thing I wanted to ask you about, all right, so the name of the album is 8. Makes a whole lot of sense. It's the eighth record. Okay, but here's my question for you, and don't get mad for me asking this.
Okay.
Was 8 always going to be the title, or was it tough to find a title and you go, oh wait, it's 8. It's our 8th studio record.
We never really even examined, and this is kind of the same across all of our albums, we never even figure out what to call it until everything's kind of done, because we don't really know what the album is until it's finished. And we were just talking about different things that we could call the album, and you know, there are all these different ideas that Brandon was coming up with, lots of ideas, and I think it was like a text chain that him and I had going where we were kind of just joking around about just calling it 8, like, because it's like so simple that it'd be kind of funny, and then I think we actually just said, no, let's do that for real. Just because, I don't know, it's like most bands don't even get around to making an 8th album, and for us it was just kind of like almost like a statement to our longevity as a band, and not from a place of arrogance in any way, from just a place of humility, that we're still here in 2017 putting out new music and touring, and you know, we've seen countless bands come and go, and trends and you know, changes in the music industry and all these different things that have killed the careers of many people, and we're just really lucky and feel very fortunate to be able to be here and doing what we're doing.
I talked to the guys from 311 a few weeks ago, which it's amazing to me that's, you know, those core guys have been together through this whole ride. You guys have been together for a super long time. It seems as though, and I was under the impression until I was doing a little research, that it had always been a pretty rosy camp Incubus goes. But you guys had kind of a bit of a rough patch after the last big tour. How does a band get through a rough patch and get back on the other side where it seems like you are now, where you're super pumped to be together, doing it? You know, it doesn't feel like it's a forced thing. It feels like a thing that you genuinely are stoked to be doing.
I mean, any band, it doesn't matter what band you are, bands are made up of lots of different personalities, and, you know, just the struggles that people go through in their own families and relationships are the same things that bands have to go through. But for us, really, like, it's just a matter of timing and just the challenge of getting everyone motivated at the same time. And that's really all it is. It's just like that comes and goes in waves. I don't care what group of people you're talking about. It happens that way with everybody, and not it doesn't matter if you're the Foo Fighters or if you're the Red Hot Chili Peppers or whoever. Like, bands that have been around for a long time have just figured out how to navigate the ups and downs of just going through changes and whatnot. You know, then we're no different, and we're just, like I said, lucky to be able to be here and do what we're doing, you know, 26 years into our career. So you know, any band that can stick around for a long period of time, like, I have appreciation for them. Doesn't matter if I like their music or not or whatever, it makes no difference. Like, what kind of music you make, any group of artists that is to be able to stick together and do what they do over a long period of time, that's an accomplishment.
I want to go back to the record, to 8. It feels to me, as an Incubus fan, everything that I want in an Incubus record. I got some funk and some rock. I got some beautiful melodies. It just seems like a really great combination of all of the things that you guys do so tremendously well.
Thank you.
There wasn't really a question there, Mike. It just kind of, I guess, was a statement.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
But it does. It just seems, and I think you even might have said that it sounds like the perfect version of where Incubus is in 2017.
Well, I don't know if it's perfect, but it is what it is. You know, it's like we can try as hard as we want to sort of conceive of what the albums are going to sound like, or anticipate like what kind of album we'd like to make, but it never comes out that way. Mm-hmm. It comes out however it comes out, and we you know, that's what will. I wish we're in certain ways, and that might be part of the engine that keeps driving us forward, is striving to be able to conceive of what these things are going to be before they happen, but it's always a surprise.
Well, it's a surprise, like having Skrillex just be a part of one song, and then all of a sudden it turns into, you know, him being a major player in the record.
Yep.
Can't plan that sort of thing out.
Nope.
Final question is a very serious question, and I don't know the exact best way to phrase it, so I'm just going to kind of go for it and see where we go. Last couple years have been really tough in the rock world. We have lost some amazing people that you were obviously way personally more close to than me. I'm just a listener that's been a fan of these folks. Mm-hmm. There has got to be some kind of way that the deaths of some of these gentlemen are used for a positive, maybe in talking about mental health, maybe more openly, and things like that. How do we go about getting into that conversation more so and helping as many people as we can? Because it seems like there are those that we can help out and that need our help, that might have thought that maybe it wasn't there for one reason or didn't want to talk or what have you. Do you have anything kind of in there as far as sort of that lane, as far as how we can kind of help some of those better that maybe wouldn't be open to talking in the first place?
I mean, that's the hardest thing to it's the hardest question really to answer, because you know, you never know what people are going through in their own private experience of the world. It doesn't matter sometimes even how well you think you know the closest people to you in your life. They can do things that are highly unexpected, and you know, some of the more recent events that have transpired, particularly with, like, you know, Chester. I mean, I can't speak obviously on his behalf or on behalf of his family or any of the people that are in his world, but you know, obviously that was not an expected outcome. And just generally speaking, you know, I think people, you know, as much as we try to relate to each other and, you know, talk about difficult things or hard times that people are having, we have to do it more. We have to try harder and you know, just reach out to our friends even more so than ever before. But it's not just with music, you know. It's like music is like a tiny little slice of you know what the rest of the people in the world are going through.
Sure.
And it's just a big challenge no matter what. And you have all these problems with you know, bullying and all kinds of other stuff that are really there are no easy answers to these things, but we just need to try as hard as we can to be open and available to the people in our lives that need us, and you know, who knows, you might be able to help that way.
I just feel like 20 years ago, maybe my dad or somebody else's dad wouldn't be talking about it. And now I feel like it's my job, or not necessarily my job, but just something that I want to do, is put it out there, you know, and have the conversation about it.
For
sure. Well, Mike, we thank you so very much for your time.
No
it's
worries,
always
man.
a pleasure to have you in St. Louis.
Thanks,
8,
man.
the new Incubus record is out as we speak, and later tonight we will be pleasure to buy the, well, that sounded wrong. We will get to enjoy seeing Incubus with Janine World.
I knew what you meant.
Right, very good. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, man. Thank you
Right on.
very much.
No worries.